You're scrolling through Instagram at lunch and you see it again. Another post. I'm retiring at 35 with $2 million. Your stomach drops. Then another one pops up. If you're not saving big by 25, you're already behind. You're 32. You log into your retirement account. $5,000. That's it. You make $50,000 a year. You're trying to pay rent, buy groceries, maybe save something. And that voice in your head is screaming, did I already mess this up? Am I too late? Is there even a point? If you ever felt like you're hopelessly behind on retirement and maybe you should just give up, stay with me because what I'm about to show you is going to change everything. My name is Mike and I make videos about how money actually works in real life. Before we jump in, quick thing, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. I'm just sharing what I've learned. Talk to a real professional about your money decisions. Here's the deal. Everyone talks about retirement like there's one perfect path. Save this exact amount by this exact age. Have this specific dollar amount by 30, by 40, by 50. And if you don't hit those numbers, you failed. Game over. But there's a catch. Those numbers are usually made up of people in perfect situations. They assume you started working at 22 with zero debt. They assume you never had an emergency, never helped family, never had medical bills, never had life actually happen to you. That's not real. That's a fantasy. The villain in this story is what I call the retirement guilt trap. You see these charts everywhere. They all say the same thing. You should have 1 full year of salary saved by 30, 3 times your salary by 40, 6 times your salary by 50. And if you don't, you're behind. You're a failure. And here's what happens next. You feel so far behind that you think, what's the point? Why even try? So you don't try. You give up before you even start. And that's exactly what keeps you stuck forever. Here's what nobody tells you. The math everyone uses for retirement, it's not written in stone. It's not a law. It's a guideline made for average people in average situations. But there's a catch. Most of us aren't living average situations. Some people started late. Some people had to take care of sick parents. Some people had medical debt. Some people had kids young. Life isn't a straight line. Your retirement plan doesn't have to be either. Has anyone ever made you feel like you're way behind on retirement? Drop a comment because I bet a lot of you have been there. Let me break down what retirement actually looks like by age. Not the fantasy version, the real version, and what you should actually do at each stage regardless of where you are right now. Let's start with your 20s. The myth says you should be maxing out retirement accounts, saving 15% or 20% of everything you make, already having tens of thousands saved by 30. The reality? Most people in their 20s are just trying to survive. You're paying off student loans. You're making entry-level money, maybe $35,000 or $40,000 a year. You're living with roommates. You're eating ramen. This is real life. Here's what you should actually focus on. First, get the employer match if your job offers it. If your company will give you free money, take it, even if it's just 3% of your paycheck. That's a 50% return instantly. You can't beat that. Second, build a small emergency fund, just $1,000. Because without that buffer, you're going to take on credit card debt every time something breaks. Third, pay off high-interest debt like credit cards. If you get through your 20s with the employer match going in $1,000 saved, and your credit card's paid off, you're ahead of most people. You didn't waste your 20s. You built a foundation. The people who beat themselves up for not having $50,000 saved by 30 are comparing themselves to trust fund kids. That's not you. That's not most people. Now let's talk about your 30s. The myth says you should have 1 year of salary saved by 30 and 3 years saved by 40. So if you make $60,000, you should have $60,000 saved by 30 and $180,000 by 40. Most people look at that and either laugh or cry, because the reality is your 30s are expensive. You might have kids now. Daycare costs are eating half your paycheck. You bought a house. Your expenses went from student apartment levels to full adult levels. Here's what you should actually focus on. First, still get that employer match. Second, try to save 10% to 15% total for retirement. That includes the employer match. If your employer gives you 4% and you put in 6%, that's 10% total. That's solid. Third, build your emergency fund to at least 3 months of expenses. If you get through your 30s with 10% to 15% going to retirement consistently, 3 months of expenses saved, and you're not drowning in debt, you're doing great. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be for real life. Are you in your 30s feeling behind? Comment your age and where you're at. No judgment here. Now your 40s. The myth says you should have 3 to 6 times your salary saved. If you make $70,000, that's $210,000 to $420,000. Most people don't have that, and they panic. They think it's over. But there's a catch. Your 40s are actually your power decade if you use them right. Here's what's probably happening. Your income is higher now. You're making $60,000 or $70,000 or more. Your kids are in school, so daycare costs are gone. You might have paid off some debt. You actually have more room to save now than you did in your 30s. Here's what you should focus on. First, increase your retirement savings to 15% or even 20% of your income. If your company gives you 5% and you put in 10%, that's 15%. Second, pay off your house faster if you can. Extra payments save you thousands in interest. Here's the math that matters. Let's say you're 40 right now. You have $50,000 saved. You make $70,000 a year. The chart says you need $210,000. You're $160,000 behind. That feels impossible. But watch this. If you save 15% from age 40 to 65, that's about $10,500 per year. Over 25 years, that becomes about $850,000. Add your existing $50,000, which grows to about $340,000. You end up with about $1.2 million at 65. You weren't behind. You just needed to save consistently. Now you're 50s. The myth says you should have 6 to 8 times your salary saved. Most people don't. But here's what people miss. Your 50s are usually your highest earning decade. You're making more money than ever. Your kids are out of the house. Your expenses are dropping. This is your chance to save big. Here's what you should focus on. First, save as much as you possibly can. Once you turn 50, the government lets you put extra money in retirement accounts. Use it. Second, pay off every debt except your house. Third, figure out your actual retirement number. Here's the simplest way to figure out what you need. Take your yearly expenses in retirement and multiply by 25. If you'll spend $40,000 per year, you need about $1 million saved. Why? Because you can safely take out 4% per year without running out. So $1 million times 4% equals $40,000 per year. If you'll spend less, you need less. If you'll spend more, you need more. Let me show you two people. Person A and Person B are both 50. Both have $200,000 saved. Both make $80,000 a year. Person A looks at the chart. They should have $480,000. They panic. They think it's hopeless. They stop trying. By 65, they have maybe $400,000. They can't retire comfortably. Person B also has $200,000 at 50. But Person B does the real math. They save $20,000 per year for 15 years. That becomes about $570,000. Plus their $200,000 grows to about $635,000. That's over $1.2 million at 65. Person B retires comfortably. The difference, Person B didn't give up. Which person sounds like you? Let me know in the comments. Here's what changes everything. People think retirement is about hitting a magic number. But there's a catch. It's not about the number. It's about your expenses. If you need $100,000 a year, you need a lot saved. But if you only need $40,000 a year, you need way less. And most people can live on less in retirement than they think. No more driving to work. No more work clothes. No more eating out for lunch. No more mortgage if it's paid off. Your expenses drop. Here's what you should do starting today. First, figure out where you actually are. Log into your retirement accounts. Add up the real numbers. Write it down. Second, figure out how much you're saving right now. Is it 5%? 10%? Nothing? Third, figure out how much more you can save. Can you go from 5% to 7%? Even small increases make huge differences. Let me show you simple math so you can see it's not hopeless. You're 35 with nothing saved. If you save $300 per month starting today, by 65 that's about $340,000. That's real money. You're 45 with nothing saved. If you save $500 per month, by 65 that's about $275,000. Still real money. Even if you're 55 with nothing saved and you save $800 per month for 10 years, that's about $140,000. Plus Social Security. That might work if you keep expenses low. The point is it's never too late to start. Ever. The best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Right now. Not next month. Not next year. Today. Here's the bottom line. The retirement math most people use is made up for perfect people in a perfect world that doesn't exist. You're not behind. You're just comparing yourself to a fantasy. What matters is that you start saving something. Anything. Consistently. What matters is that you increase it when you can. What matters is that you don't give up just because some chart made you feel like a failure. That chart doesn't know your life. It doesn't know you had medical debt or helped your parents or got laid off. The chart is just a guess for average people. You're not average. You're real. Your future self 20 or 30 years from now is watching you right now. They are begging you. Please don't give up just because you feel behind. Please start today with whatever you can. The person who starts at 45 with nothing and saves consistently beats the person who started at 25 then quit. Consistency beats perfection every time. Start where you are. Save what you can. Increase it when you can. And ignore every chart that makes you feel like garbage for living a real life. If you're 25 and just starting, perfect. If you're 35 and just starting, also perfect. If you're 45 or 55 and just starting, still perfect. What matters is that you're starting. What matters is that you don't quit. So tell me in the comments, what age are you and where are you at with retirement? Be honest. No judgment. And if this video helped you stop beating yourself up, smash that like button and subscribe because I'm making more videos about how money actually works for real people living real lives.